Kia ora koutou. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Climate Response Accelerator Virtual Showcase, streaming live here from Creative HQ. My name is Luke Ball and I'm the GM of Startups at Creative HQ. Thank you for being here, for tuning in. It's a shame that I can't see you, but I can feel you, and we're really excited for this afternoon to watch 8 incredible teams pitch what their solutions on how they're helping us respond more effectively to our changing climate. Before we kick off the afternoon, I want to turn the time over to our friend Wayne Mulligan, who is on the board of directors of Creative HQ, who is an investor, an entrepreneur, and with a deep passion for science and the environment, who's going to welcome us with a mihi and a karakia. Over to you, Wayne.
Thank you, Luke. Tēnā tātou. Tēnā tātou ngā rauranga tira mai e titiro e whakarongo mai I tēnei āhuatanga tātou I Wainganui I tēnei kaupapa whakahira mo tātou. No reira, te iti me te rai, nau mai, whakataumua. Hara mai a whakaaro nui, me te ākitia, manakitia te whenua, ko te tai ao me ngā wai, tai atu ki ngā tangata katoa o te ao whānui. No reira, nau mai, hara mai, ki tēnei tūmomo hui a tātou. No reira, anei te karakia, hei tīmata ai tō tātou hui, just a little cultural enchantment from my Māori people of Aotearoa, New Zealand, which really heralds the time of spring and the living birds and the life of birds. And if there is no birds in the forest, well, it's not a very good sign. So I'll give you this, and I think you've put the translation up on the system here. Ka tangi te kawe, waiho kia tangi ana. Ka tangi te whararau ro, waiho kia tangi ana. E tātari ana, atu ana kia aroaro mahana, ka taka mai te ahuru, koia. The time has come for the warmness of spring and the animals. And I'll just finish with this one too, because this is so relevant to what the good people from around the world, from Aotearoa, Whānui, the Waipounamu, which is ka pū te ruha, ka hao te rangatahi. Ka pū te ruha, ka hao te rangatahi. And that basically translates to the time has come to cast aside the old net and let the new begin, and the rangatahi and the youth. And we look to you and these projects as great opportunities. So let those old ways go and do the new. Kia ora, over to you. Thank you.
Kia ora, Wayne. Thank you much. And thank you so much for setting the scene so beautifully. And I love that last the words you said about casting aside the old nets, because I feel like a lot of what this program is about has been working with entrepreneurs who are trying to change systems that have been in place for a very long time that are no longer serving us, serving our people and serving our community. So it's time to cast those aside. Before we get into the agenda, let me give you an overview of how today is going to work. So we're using a new platform called Philo. This is actually our first time using it. We'd love to have you give feedback on the experience. But essentially what it is, it's a platform that allows you to both live stream and watch these this interaction, but also afterwards, it's a space where you'll see that each team has a breakout room where you're able to go in and you'll be able to connect directly with the teams in real time. And so that's a really cool opportunity that, being virtual allows us to do. So just a couple of housekeeping rules. In no time do we tolerate any sort of harassment or discrimination. Be kind to each other. Often when you're online and things can get lost in translation. So, be careful with the words, especially when you're chatting away. Just, be respectful and be nice to others. A little bit of the agenda. So shortly after this, we will go straight into the pitching section where you'll hear the pitches from the 8 teams. Followed by that, you'll have the opportunity to go into the breakout rooms with each of the teams. And I'll explain a little bit of how that's going to work afterwards. What's also cool about Philo, if you'll see below this box where you're watching us, you'll see that there's different tiles. You'll be able to find an agenda. You can also find a form where you can express interest in teams you want to connect with. There's a presentation around just an overview of the program. And then, of course, there's the breakout rooms for the teams itself. So we'll try to keep it quite simple. At any point in time, if you do get a little bit lost in the platform, just drop a message in the chat box and our a lovely team will be able to help you out. One last thing I do want to share is just a little bit of overview of what the Climate Response Accelerator is. It's a 12-week program with 8 teams from across New Zealand who are working across different industries from waste, transport, energy, water, and a variety of other spaces. And their goal, I guess, that unites them is to, I guess, cast aside the net and bring on new ways of operating and living together and help us respond better to climate change. And so I just wanted to show this little picture here because this is a picture my daughter drew. She's 6 years old. It's a planet and it says save the planet. And she wanted me to give this to the teams I was working with. Last night, I told her I had an event tonight. I'd be home late. And she said, oh, why? And I explained I've got this event. And I showed her the pictures of the entrepreneurs I'm working with. And I went through and I told her what each team is working on, and she didn't really get it. And I tried to try to boil it down and said, essentially, they're saving the planet. And she thought that was really, really cool. And she drew this picture. And it made me think of this experience I had just a couple of weeks ago where I was during lockdown, and we've all kind of experienced that. And to take my kids out, I wanted them to, just my wife was to get them out of the house. So we went around and we went around just to pick up trash around the neighborhood. And my kids had different bags, and as siblings do, they started to get real competitive. My 6-year-old started fighting with my 4-year-old because she thought she was winning because she had more rubbish in her bag. And then my other daughter started to cry because she's like, oh, she's got more rubbish than me. And I had to have a stop and, tried to have this kind of parenting lesson where I said, hey, it doesn't matter who's got the most rubbish. As long as we all clean it up together, we all win. And essentially, I guess that's the message that I want to get across tonight, is that it doesn't matter how we do it, as long as we do it, as long as we get more sustainable, as we get more green, as we take care of our environment. And that requires collaboration. And that's what the program's been about. It's been about founders from different nationalities, different industries coming together to work on some really, really cool stuff. Yeah. Collaboration.
I've got one thing.
I'm going to actually, please, Wayne.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. And this project and this program you're running is important because innovation doesn't happen in the mainstream. It happens in the mainstream's blind spot. Be in the blind spot, work really hard, collaborate with other parties, because the mainstream will say lots of great things, as they have done for the last 30 years, right? And COP26 is coming up. But there are doers. And be an activist by doing, not an activist by just making noise. So mainstream's important, but mainstream blind spot is where the opportunity lies to really make a change for the earth and for humanity and for all beings.
Yeah, ka pai. And on that note, let's go jump straight into the pictures. Here we're going to hear the pictures of these teams who are operating, I guess, in some of those blind spots, trying to make some change. So we'll go to the pictures now, and then we'll come back after that and explain the next steps.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Ko te rere te monga, ko tamaki te awa, ko Pākehā te iwi, no tamaki makara aho, ko Gavi toku whānau, ko Michael toku ingoa, nā mihi nui kia koutou. Kia ora, and thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm Michael from Foodprint, which is an app where you can rescue surplus and imperfect food from the hospitality and retail sectors to prevent it from being wasted. Now, despite being something that should be totally avoidable, food waste is a massive global problem. We waste about a third of the food that's produced for human consumption. It accounts for 10% of our global greenhouse gas emissions. And eliminating food waste has also been identified as the #1 action that we can take to fight the climate crisis. Looking specifically at hospitality, you see 61% of the food that gets thrown away, there's nothing wrong with it. It's still perfectly edible. And this comes at a huge cost to the businesses, where for every $1 of food that's thrown away, an additional $3 in profit must be made just in order to break even. And this is an industry that's got incredibly tight margins and has been hit again and again from COVID lockdowns. And it's not just about filling landfills with money either. What we've seen is that wasting food is terrible for team morale. This is me at age 20. I was working as a banquet server in Colorado in the ski resorts. Part of my job actually included throwing away uneaten food as it returned from the buffet. I always hated this task and I subsequently wasn't very good at it. Needless to say, my flatmates and I ate really well that season. 10 years later, I was at HelloFresh, just as they were starting to use technology to disrupt the food scene over there. And these experiences in hospital and food tech, along with the Sustainable Development Goals, are what helped build the foundations for Foodprint. So the app is a two-sided marketplace where each day eateries who have got surplus food or food that they're not likely to sell can list it on the app for a discount. Customers like you and me can receive push notifications or browse the app and see what food's available. You can then purchase in just a couple of clicks and collect those items in store, rescuing food that was otherwise destined for the bin and keeping money into those businesses. If you haven't already, now's a great time to download the app. And when you do so, you'll see that we track for our customers as well as our eateries how much food, money, and carbon they've saved. In our first 2 years, we've achieved 36,000 registered customers. We hit the #2 spot in the App Store for the food and beverage section, and we've prevented over 50 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent gas entering the Earth's atmosphere. None of that would be possible without the help of the eateries who we've partnered with. These guys represent a snapshot of some of the businesses who have been with us since the start in Auckland. But we've grown this community to around 400 eateries. For them, using Foodprint is worth about $5K per year. But for some of them, it's averaging more like $20K. And we generate our revenue by retaining a percentage of each purchase. I wanted to give you a wee introduction to our team, who bring together over 10 years experience in food tech and food waste, 30 years of sales, marketing and business operations, and 60 years in app design and development. Now, when I pitched to get into this program, there was 3 things that I wanted to get out of it, which was to bring Foodprint to Wellington, some strategic planning support, and making sense of our customer insights. 12 weeks later, we're leaving the program with 30 eateries on the platform here in Wellington. We were on track to be a bit higher than that, but we're obviously impacted by this lockdown. We were able to use this time to strengthen the relationships that we've already built and bring a lot of our onboarding process online, which will help us to scale across next year. We've used this experience to develop a market entry strategy, which is ready to go across 4 new markets in 2022. We've also done a huge amount of customer discovery, and based on what we've learned, we've fed this into some app and eatery portal improvements to make it even easier to use. Over the next 5 years, the plan is to rescue 1 million meals. This will keep $10 million into other businesses and not in the bin, and it will also prevent 1,200 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent gases from heating our planet. If you want to get involved, what I'm looking for this evening is connections to people in the hospitality and retail food sectors, or people who are working in food court operations. I'm also looking to build out my advisory board, specifically looking for people who bring together experience in sales, app marketing, or two-sided marketplaces. Ultimately, I'd love for you to get involved and join me in saving the planet by eating cake. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I am Shalini Divya, the co-founder and CEO of Tasman9. Tasman is a company that aims at commercializing aluminium-ion batteries. So let me tell you a little about batteries first. Well, we're all moving towards technologies that are cleaner and greener. Electric vehicles, e-bikes, e-scooters, cell phones, laptops, grid storage. Most of these appliances and industries are focusing on batteries for energy storage, especially lithium-ion batteries, because they are the best, right? However, there are a few problems that exist with lithium batteries. We do not have enough lithium, nickel, or cobalt to cater to the future demand of lithium batteries. Cobalt is unethically mined. You do not want your cell phones or laptops to be powered by child labor. Some of the lithium ion batteries, well, they explode. And then the metal prices, they fluctuate, which makes it a nightmare for the investors. Scientists and researchers like us all over the world are looking into alternative pieces of technology that can solve these problems mentioned. So I bring to you aluminium ion batteries. Well, aluminium is the most abundant metal in the Earth's crust. Therefore, it's cheaper. The chemistry of my batteries is such that it makes it non-flammable in nature. Therefore, it's safer. Also, aluminium can be cheaply recycled, making it more sustainable. When I was in my PhD, I went to Fraunhofer and they specialize in making lithium-ion batteries of all shapes and sizes. I made aluminium-ion batteries there, which means in the future, investors do not have to spend millions of dollars to establish a new aluminium battery manufacturing plant. Well, because it is a battery industry, the market opportunity is huge. The numbers speak for themselves. What we will be focusing on is competing with the world standard. There are other aluminium ion technologies coming up. The advantage that we have with our cathode material is that it has an industry of its own. It is a commodity. It is not some fancy nanomaterial, and it is not just going to be focused for aluminium ion battery. It is safer than lithium solid and sodium ion. So we will be focusing on industries that prioritize safety over the energy output. Our beachhead market, therefore, is going to be the commercial drone sector. The certification standard for the new batteries entering the commercial drone market is quite low. So once we have mitigated all our technical risks, we will be entering the commercial drone industry, followed by the micromobility industry. And once we have made our technology robust enough, we will be entering the automobile sector. And maybe we compete with Tesla one day. So this is how our timeline looks like. And by the end of the next 2 years, we will have a prototype ready for the commercial drone sector. And once we start mitigating the risks, we will start building prototypes for the other industries and secure sale agreements. How does Tasman generate money? Well, the fabrication facility can be used by other battery researchers and scientists. The prototypes that we build can be sold to the local drone manufacturers, and we can secure the sale agreements. Once we have the robust technology with us, we will license the technology and use the global battery manufacturers and their network channels to enter the other industries like stationary storage, EV sector, or even the health industry. So that is what our plan is. And what have we done so far to achieve those goals? Well, we have validated our production processes and we have also filed a provisional patent. We will be entering the PCT stage in the next few months. This was my PhD project, and right now I'm aiming to commercialize my PhD project. I was supported by my PhD supervisor, Professor Thomas Nunn, who's currently in Australia. I have been surrounded by some amazing advisors and mentors, especially from this accelerator program. I cannot thank you enough. Because this is a new technology, it was important for me to share my excitement and news with the others, audiences from all corners. So I have engaged with a number of media channels to make sure everyone becomes aware of this piece of technology. Thank you, Creative HQ, for making me realize my vision, and I hope all of you will help me to make Tasman the safest and greenest battery technology in the world. Thank you.
Kia ora, Creative HQ whānau. I'm Mark Sorensen, co-founder of Cleanery, a business my wife Ellie and I started to solve some massive problems the world is facing. We are reinventing cleaning and personal care sector to solve big issues and convert mainstream consumers to sustainable products. Cleaning and personal care is a $500 billion category. It's massive. It touches billions of lives each and every day. And yet, billions of bottles are manufactured each year, filled mostly with water, transported around the world, and then discarded. Companies focus on cost savings while our homes and environment fill with toxic and ineffective products. We're out to put a bomb under this big boring industry. It needs a shake-up. This is an essay that I wrote 28 years ago about the packaging problem. I include it here, not to show that I once got top marks in school, but to demonstrate that this problem has been around for a long time. And we don't want our kids looking back in another 28 years and wishing that something had been done. So we have reimagined the science, the manufacturing processes, and the entire business model behind the cleaning and personal care industry. At Cleanery, we have developed truly effective cleaning and personal care products, delivered as a powder that dissolves in water at home. These powders are super easy to use. Fill a bottle with water, dip the sachet in, a quick shake, and you're ready to go. No waiting, mess or fuss. Our initial range includes surface cleaners and hand washes, and we'll soon have body washes, shampoos and more. Cleanery is super clean and super green. This means that Cleanery products perform better and deliver massively improved environmental outcomes, and they come at a competitive and profitable price point. Mainstream consumers want products that work. For cleaning products, this means cleaning surfaces effectively and getting rid of germs. What you can see here is the outcome of product tests carried out in accordance with international standards. As the results show, the dissolvable tablets that you might have seen here are even worse than traditional eco products. They have zero effect on the mess. Whereas the Cleanery test on the right is clearly much more effective than even the market-leading chemical-based product. And we don't get that cleaning efficacy by cramming a whole lot of nasty chemicals into the sachet. When you buy one of our sachets, you save a bottle, and we eliminate the emissions from shipping bulky products around the world. Our on-shelf dispenser boxes demonstrate this. You're looking at 120 bottles worth of product that can be stored on the shelf ready for sale. No need for forklifts or massive warehouses. Obviously a massive benefit for the retailer, but also an illustration of how adding the water at home removes waste across the entire supply chain. Lightweight sachets are plant-based and recyclable, and the products inside are safe and plant and mineral based as well. There's 99% less packaging and waste and no need to compromise between clean and green. To develop products that appeal to mainstream consumers, we've had to overcome big scientific challenges and develop proprietary equipment and processes. There are other Just Add Water products coming to market, but they don't have our science, and they don't work, and they don't solve the problem. Our technology extends to viscous products such as body washes and shampoo. This is unique to us. It's a massive point of difference and brings access to massive markets. Most importantly, we've got strong and defendable IP, including patents, across our products, science and systems. Our unit economics are excellent. This de-risks growth and ensures scalability of our model. Our pilot plant in Auckland can produce 25,000 sachets per week, and we have a clear path to scale with manufacturing hubs that can be affordably built in market, close to customers for weightless exports. A resilient supply chain and locally made value proposition. Cleanery is now available online via our website and Supi. We're in Faro and a range of specialty stores from next week, and the bigger stores soon after. Our viscous personal care products are a complete game changer. These will be launched with a new brand and taken global from day one next year. We're positioned for rapid growth, and the technology and IP that we have enables discussions with existing brands to accelerate scale and maximise impact. We've got super ambitious plans, but we've got the team to execute. I'm an EHF fellow and I have an engineering degree and background combined with over 20 years commercial leadership experience. Ali compliments me bringing a massive eco-conscience and a background in PR and comms. And the experience in the team is beyond world class. We have 100 years engineering and science experience from deep tech firms, including Lanzatech and Avatana, and some of the world's consumer product and R&D giants. And we've got the go-to-market team to match. Peter Cullinane of Lewis Road Creamery and Saatchi fame needs no introduction. Nicola O'Rourke has deep FMCG experience, and Michael Stasny brings commercial leadership and depth to negotiations and strategy. We look back over what we've achieved in the past 12 weeks in the Accelerator with pride, but this is just the start of a very exciting journey. We've just opened our seed round and looking forward to talking to investors. And we would love for you all to join us in creating a safe and sustainable world. Thank you very much.
Kia ora tātou, I'm Trevor Stuthridge, Managing Director for Cetogenics. Let us take you on our journey. Each year the world generates 1.5 billion tonnes of organic waste. That's enough to bury Auckland to the height of the Sky Tower. We also use over 3,000 cubic kilometres of natural gas. Natural gas and organic waste are significant contributors to climate change. However, there are technologies available that we can use to replace natural gas with organic waste derived renewable natural gas. This technology is called anaerobic digestion. Waste is mixed with bacteria that convert it to methane that can be purified into renewable natural gas for fuels, electricity, and into the gas grid. The challenge with this well-known technology, however, is that it's relatively inefficient in gas production, and it generates a waste product called digestate, or a soup, that has to be disposed of. Cetogenics can take the digestate, break it down into a superfood for the bacteria, which can make more methane for the process. And indeed, if we install Cetogenics into anaerobic digestion systems, we can increase gas production by over 40%. In addition, we can recover nutrients from the digestate for a biofertilizer product for on sale. Fundamentally, with Cetogenics, there's no waste left behind. The anaerobic digestion market is already growing rapidly and will be $15 billion by 2025. But scalability issues and that low gas production will slow down the market. Introducing Cetogenics will allow market growth to increase much more rapidly than it would do without it. Our initial market will be retrofits in North America, Europe, and Australasia. We've already identified 15,000 anaerobic digestion plants suitable for Cetogenics. This is a $31 billion addressable market for our company. We also have strong linkages into China for a new market development opportunity. We have engaged with our first adopter, a farm consortium in British Columbia, Canada, which is looking to dispose of its livestock waste. British Columbia has recently introduced a natural gas mandate that will require 20% of all its gas to be replaced with renewable natural gas by 2025. The current site would be uneconomic with standard anaerobic digestion, but with Cetogenics we'll have a 2-year payback. In New Zealand there's no existing anaerobic digestion market, so we'll be focusing on new builds. We are looking to eliminate dirty coal, minimise organic landfilling, and repurpose energy infrastructure such as boilers and natural gas lines. Our technology has already been taken through the pilot scale as shown on the right. Going forward, we aim to stabilise and strengthen our proprietary position, design and build scalable plants for multiple markets, and extend our product outputs. We already have IP around production of biodegradable plastics and polymers and fine chemicals. Our business model is focused on both retrofit and new builds. We will sell Cetogenics modules, we will gain royalties by the increased gas production, and the on-selling of byproducts will also generate value. We have a very experienced executive team who have worked in multi-million-dollar science and innovation commercialization companies and strong investment management experience at an international level. We're also very privileged to have a very deeply experienced international team of advisors who have worked both in deep tech and also multiple markets for investment. In this quarter, we'll be going for a 2.5 seed round capital raise. We'll use that to establish our product development team in New Zealand. We'll use it to complete our first adopter installation in Canada, and we'll build the infrastructure and test platforms we need to extend the market offering. We're Cetogenics. We're aiming to unlock the hidden potential of organic waste to fix a problem we should all be concerned about. How do we repurpose organic waste? How do we decarbonise our energy supply? And how do we work together to mitigate climate change? We're building renewable futures. Kia ora.
Kia ora, my name is Georgina Fennick and I'm a co-founder of Frankie. Frankie is the operations control center for industrious property teams. We build simple cloud software that brings managers and contractors together to maintain property, plant and equipment easily at scale. Let's be frank, we do not maintain our industrious assets and equipment well in this country. Breakdowns are far too common, and this comes at a really high cost to the productivity of teams, to the default of customer deliveries in a manufacturing context, and the bottom line of a business. It's also not great for the environment, with 37% of global greenhouse gas emissions coming from steel, the production of steel, concrete, and the powering of HVAC. We want to have a really simple impact on the world. We want fewer breakdowns to lead to less demand for early replacement of key assets like roofing, roller doors, and plant and equipment. We believe there's a huge opportunity that exists, particularly in the Western world, to maintain what we already have. Consider the roof in this picture and the impact of it needing to be replaced every 25 years or every 10 years. That is the type of problem that we aim to solve at scale. With 85% of the life cycle cost of a property spent across the maintenance phase of the property, so that's post-construction, and the demolition phase, we believe that cooperation between owners, operators, and contractors on a tool like Frankie is absolutely essential. And that's exactly what we've designed and built so far. The Frankie experience puts the power in the hands of our users to make the best decisions for their network. And that's by digitizing the portfolio and asset base, and also making it really easy to centralize reactive reports, so broken doors, leaky taps, roofs that have a bit of rust across them, and reporting those types of tasks, and then scheduling preventative tasks just as easily. This enables all of our users to track asset health and make really insightful decisions on repairs and replacements. Now, so far, Frankie is used across 160 industrial and education properties around New Zealand. To give you a further insight into the types of tasks required to manage a property at scale, it's pretty varied, with painting programs, roller door servicing, HVAC filter changes, all some of the types of tasks that a property team will be responsible for. So it's been really important for us to essentially build out Frankie 1.0 with that workflow and with that asset management in mind. Now that we've done that, and through the Creative HQ program that we've been participating in, we've been able to plan out the next phase of growth for the company, which involves creating the ability to action gaps faster through accessing the services of trusted contractors registered on Frankie, and then driving insights around the repair and replacement decisions that we've been talking about so far. The carbon impact of building products is something that is extremely important to us, and we're keen to dive deep into that roofing example that we were talking about before. The ThinkStep team released a report a couple of years ago that broke down a commercial property down into both the carbon profile associated with construction of the site and that the life cycle phase of and maintenance requirements of key building products. We want to focus on roofing steel as a particular point today, and we're passionate about building a building product specific approach around this particular product. Now, as you can see, a new build represents around 7% of roofing steel represents around 7% of the carbon profile of a new build, and then at a maintenance life cycle level, it goes up to that 68%. This is driven by roofing replacement and repairs through its life cycle. To get a greater insight into how this actually works around the country, we're looking for 6 organisations to participate in a steel roofing program to kick off on October the 4th. As part of that program, we'll baseline the carbon footprint and embodied carbon in your properties, or a selection of them, depending on how much time you've got, compare and contrast maintenance activities as a group, and then work out what opportunities exist across the country for this network. It has the power to have a huge impact on the way in which we maintain these products over time, and should should provide some really practical discussion for property teams around the country to action. If you are interested in participating in this program, whether you're in the private sector or the public sector, we'd love to hear from you. So please contact me through these contact details below, or contact the Creative HQ team directly. Everyone who's joined this call is passionate about making change in the world when it comes to responding to climate change. It's our fundamental belief that through small acts multiplied by millions of people can transform the world. We're keen to do that in the property maintenance space. We wanted to say a huge thank you to the Creative HQ team and our mentors, Brian, Leah, Sam, and Andrew, for all of your support. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.
Hi, I'm Daniel, the founder of InterDevice, a green deep tech company in Auckland. In the next 5 minutes, I'll give a quick introduction about our company. We have been running for 8 years. We focus on R&D for wireless power technology. Over the past 4 years, we have been developing the technology to fast charge electrical vehicles wirelessly. Wireless charging will be the first choice for future charging infrastructure as EV use expands. Wireless charging transfers power crossing two pads without any contact. The power receiving pad is installed on an EV, thus becomes an important part of the vehicle. Therefore, we are entering the next biggest market, the EV market. I don't need to stress its market size, and we already see the traction of EVs roll out. For a tech company, having raw people is essential. The good thing is, Auckland University is regarded as a world-leading researcher in wireless power technology, which provides the best talent in this field. So we are perfectly positioned with leading talent to target an exponentially growing market. The charging infrastructure is vital for EV manufacturers to push their vehicles to the market, and it is also crucial for future city planning. Current plug-in charging has lots of problems. You need to remember to plug in and plug out, dealing with lots of cables and plugs. The charging boxes are intrusive. Imagine a few years later, nobody wants to see these giant refrigerator-like boxes filling up the spaces on the streets, car parks, and standing in front of your house. The plug-in charging station also take a lot of space. It will be harder and harder to find the spare land for them. Wireless charging is an excellent solution to solve all these problems. It eliminates cables, plugs, boxes. The vehicles charge themselves whenever you park it in your garage, your workspace, your workplace, or shopping mall. You never need to remember to charge. It's hassle-free and always ready. While charging can be hidden and doesn't take land space, ensuring minimum impact for the city plan, meanwhile providing sufficient charging facilities for the future. InterDevice has developed the technology to not just charge EVs wirelessly, but to fast charge EVs wirelessly. This is essential for commercial fleets where time is money. More importantly, a vehicle can quickly top up a significant amount of energy into the battery during a brief parking, so that driving range can be substantially extended. We have multiple pending patents to protect our technology. We have built a prototype which can charge a Nissan Leaf 2021 model in around 2 hours. Currently, we are further increasing the power to halve the charging time. Meanwhile, we are talking to the companies in New Zealand, UK, Germany, and China to build pilot projects to charge EVs and industrial robotic vehicles. The pilot projects will lead us to establish partnerships and create revenue-generating opportunities. This is our team. I'm the founder and CEO. Previously, I worked in Fisher & Paykel Healthcare, Navico, and Navman. So I have a strong R&D background, which helps me to lead the team to create innovative solutions. And also, I have experience in commercialization of technology. The majority of our team members are from Auckland University with first-class academic research on wireless power. So we build it, but build it with top performance. We are looking for investment to fund our R&D costs, pilot projects, patent applications, and marketing and customer trials. For more information, please feel free to contact me, and I'm happy to talk about it with you. Here are my contact details. Thank you very much.
Kia ora tātou katoa. My name is Milan Ruka. I come from Taitukatau Whangarei, up here in the north. My long-held aspiration is to harness water energy, but in a sustainable way. I'm the inventor of the Ruka turbine. 13 of 15 of my father's family were born on the banks of the Wairua River. Ko ahau te awa, ko te awa ki ahau. I am the river is me. Since 2010, I've dedicated my life to kaitiaki, te awa, to manaaki, and care for our rivers. In the Pacific region alone, we have great resources in our rivers, harbours, and oceans, for example, and yet we still rely greatly on coal, diesel, and gas for electric power generation. Existing water turbine technology is not commercially suitable or viable to be used in many of our world's harbours and rivers. Propellers need great depth to operate. Their energy capture blades are inefficient to the resource. Environmental harm develops with electric currents and sharp blades. Deployment and maintenance is difficult and costly. Water wheel technology is said to be more than 2,000 years old, developed by the very innovative Greeks. The Ruka marine turbine evolved from Mātauranga Māori, Te Ao Māori, our way of thinking. Water wheels were the key to the origin of the Industrial Revolution in the early 1800s. They are radial in design and operation. Today's marine technology is still radial in design, but now in propeller version, such as the Open Hydro in the Orkney Islands, Scotland. The radial propeller marine technology derives from wind turbines, but since the late 1990s have been adapted to underwater environments, as you see here in the Shigen marine turbine in Ireland. Apart from innovative deployment methods, any further advancements with radial technology itself are considered to be unlikely. The orbital marine power turbines here are still on this 680-ton vessel. They're still basically the wind turbine propeller, but immersed in the water. The world has an abundance of high-capacity rivers like the Clutha and Otago, but radial turbines need larger diameter blades and are not commercially viable in the 3 to 4 metre average depths. In this example here, the Clutha is 3 or 4 metres deep and has 2,456 tonnes of water passing under it every 4 seconds. The RMT elongated design is very efficient to harness slow and swift currents to meet commercial kilowatt output. It has low to zero impact on the environment. With 114 dams in New Zealand, like the Roxburgh Hydro Dam, we have ideal locations to recycle the swift flows that exit below each dam. These locations have all the infrastructure in place ready to be utilised. The Aotearoa Hydroelectric Power Dam is one of 9 on the Waikato River, ideal for the Roka Marine turbine. The 1911 Wairua Power Station has great detrimental impact on the eel fishery of the upper Wairua River catchment. The RMA this year has considered another dam, almost a replica of this one. Te Aroha is blessed with natural water current resources. We need to consider how best to utilise these natural forces with zero impact on the environment. The Roka Marine turbine will be floating low draft pontoon or barge type vessel. Mooring methods are conventional, so the Roka Marine turbine is very adaptable to supply power to remote locations such as the Hokianga, French Pass and the Manukau Harbour. Climate change is upon us. The world needs clean energy alternatives. The Roka Marine turbine is a charitable project. My desire is to provide turbines to the world, in particular those nations that can least afford it. The prototype has been designed. There's still some variations to go. I'm in the accelerator program with CHQ and Callaghan, and provisional patents are now being prepared, and we're moving ahead with the project. Bill Gates quote, "Climate change is the greatest threat to our existence in our short history on this planet. Nobody's going to buy their way out of its effects. Māori have a whakatauki, he waka iki noa. We are all in this together."
Kiwi commuters drive to the moon and back over 40 times every day. That's a distance of over 30 million kilometres every single day. And pretty much everybody goes by themselves. The end effect of that is about 5.5 million empty seats travelling to and from work on a daily basis. We think that's absolutely crazy. Contributes to traffic congestion, strain on resources, and most importantly, contribution to climate change. Kia ora koutou. My name's Todd.
And I'm Claudia, and we're the co-founders of HIT. We're on a mission to fundamentally change the way that people move. We want to leave the world in a better place, and we've chosen one area where we can make a significant difference. We see a future in which our public spaces are cleaner and greener, a future with less cars and connected, more healthier communities. It's clear that our car dependence is a problem, but it's a problem without a simple solution.
Even more so because the problem is deep-seated and at its core behavioural, particularly here in New Zealand, where car ownership and use in many ways is just part of our culture. It's probably no surprise to you that as a country we have one of the highest car ownership rates in the world. Our dependency on cars is said to be one of the biggest threats to the livability of our main cities in the future. If we can encourage people to carpool, then we can go a huge way in reducing the number of cars commuting every day. So Hitch started with a simple question: what's stopping people from sharing their cars? We spent a lot of time researching this and found that many people do want to carpool, but 3 factors tend to get in the way. Firstly, it's hard to find and connect with others heading in the same way at the same time. Carpooling with people that you don't know can be perceived as risky, and actually organising carpooling can be a logistical nightmare. Hitch is designed to address these challenges. Hitch is a dynamic technology platform which connects commuters heading in the same way at the same time. Hitch makes carpooling flexible, convenient, cost-effective, and gives car commuters and businesses a platform to do their bit for the environment.
Carpooling isn't new, and we've seen many startups try and fail at solving this problem. Where Hitch is different is that we are focused on organisations as our customers. Hitch will be a platform that workplaces utilise to change the way that their people move. Organisations are the perfect customers for a number of key reasons. They're under increasing pressure to demonstrate real effort to reduce their carbon footprint. They're also existing trusted networks of people. Even if you don't know the person that you're travelling with, just knowing that they work in the same place really reduces that perceived safety risk of carpooling. Lastly, organisations represent a critical mass of people heading to the same place. Hitch's business model is simple. Organisations would pay on a subscription basis. This would then set them up with our carpooling product and include wraparound support during rollout. It would also give the organisation access to our Hitch dashboard for metrics and reporting. Hitch's vision is to fundamentally change the way that people move. And this vision is much broader than just carpooling. We see huge potential in areas like mobility as a service and on-demand public transport. And as we grow, we aim to be a key change maker in the mobility sector.
12 weeks ago, Hitch was little more than just an idea. We had ambitious targets for our time in the accelerator. Our focus has been on testing a whole lot of assumptions and validating the demand for Hitch as a product. We've been getting as hands-on as possible with this. A month ago, the two of us stood on the side of the road and hitchhiked to work. We've also been carpooling ourselves with beta users. Coupled with the customer interviews, the real-life carpooling tests have been immensely valuable for validating our assumptions. We've also been working with potential business customers to validate the demand for Hitch as a workplace solution. Across the last 12 weeks, we've engaged with 35 organisations, covering a considerable combined workforce. We've also worked with 5 of these organisations so far to carry out analysis on how their people are actually getting to work. In the last couple of weeks, we have finished development of a web version of the Hitch platform, and we've been busy preparing for a trial of the platform. So far, we've got 12 organisations on board for the trial, and the interest is continuing to grow. In 12 short weeks, we've validated that car commuting is a widespread problem. People are willing to carpool if we make it easier for them. And finally, organisations are looking to enable sustainable commuting options and are really excited about Hitch's proposition.
We've achieved a great deal in the last 12 weeks, and we have an exciting roadmap for the months ahead. Our focus through to November is to complete our scheduled workplace trials. We are also beginning a process of raising capital to grow Hitch through to its next phase. If you'd like to find out more about this, please reach out to us or tune into the investment evening tomorrow. The two of us bring the passion and the drive required to tackle this challenge. Technology is going to be one of the easiest parts of building Hitch. The hardest part will be changing human behaviour. Luckily enough, we've spent the last few years operating in exactly this space through our careers in consulting. We're dedicated to making a difference for this planet and its people, and we won't stop until we do. We would like to say a heartfelt thank you to the sponsors and the partners of the Climate Response Accelerator, and to our mentors and coaches for your steered advice. To our families, thank you for your patience and support. And finally, to you, thank you for listening. We're really looking forward to connecting with you in the Q&A.
Cool, welcome back. How was that? That was awesome, Kāpai. Good job, teams. You really make us proud. That was an awesome job. Hey, and as Todd said in the end of the pitch, thank you to our sponsors and our partners for making this program a possibility. Thank you to all of the mentors who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes with the teams. Thank you to the program staff who have also been making the ship smooth sailing. It's been an incredible time working with these founders. And as you can see, they're working on some really, really incredible stuff. And we're seeing all the positive support come through the chat bar, and we're glad that you're also feeling quite excited about the things that they're working on. So we're going to wrap up the first section now of the Climate Response Accelerator Showcase. So a couple of things about what now. We're going to move now into the startup Q&A section. This will be open for the next hour until 6 o'clock. So how that works is some of you are already going in and out of the rooms, and that's okay. Below this live stream box, you'll see that the 8 teams have their virtual breakout rooms. So how that works is pretty simple. You can just click into each room, you'll go in there and you'll see some information, and then you can also, and then you can join the breakout rooms, that you can join the calls like that way. So I'm getting some prompts, and maybe you're saying it wrong, but you'll figure it out. It's actually really quite simple. Also, below all the breakout rooms, you'll see that there's a form, and you can fill that out and mark all the teams that you would like to connect with, leave us information, and we also can make the introduction if you have to jump now and unable to join any of the rooms. Also, an ask from us at the very bottom of the page, there is a feedback form. It's just a single question. If you can give us some feedback on how this experience was, so we can improve moving forward, that would be great. And finally, before we move to the startup Q&A space, some really positive news. We are going to be running another Climate Response Accelerator in 2022, so first or second quarter next year. If you are interested in that and participating as a sponsor or partner, or you have an idea which you think could be part of the program, you can register interest now on our website. You'll find we can link that up somewhere. But yeah, so we're right now starting to think about and looking for people who can be a part of that program. If you want to come back later on to this platform, this will still be live. This video that you've just watched will be linked up, so you can come back in and watch anything that you've missed. Once again, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for all of the support throughout the program. It's been an incredible journey. As you saw in the stats at the very beginning, we've had 5 COVID alert level changes, so we've had to adapt. Every single event we've tried to done has had to be cancelled, postponed, but we finally made it to the end, and the teams have done some incredible mahi. So thank you. Enjoy the breakout rooms and have a good rest of the afternoon.